Hi there, just going live now on Facebook and YouTube and just doing that wait to see when it's going live and who might be out there watching today. If you are watching today, then I hope you're having a good Friday. It seems to have been a really long week this week, lots of people saying that. I think if your children have gone back to school this week after half term, then that's always a bit of a struggle to get the ball rolling again for everybody. So welcome, if this is the first time watching a Facebook Live or if you haven't been with us before. My name's Louisa Whitney and I run LKW Family Mediation, which is a family mediation practice. So I help couples who are separating to find resolutions that are tailor-made to them through constructive discussion. And this morning I'm going to be talking about a recent blog post. I will share the link to that on this live. And I've been talking about the divorce process. So I'm going to be talking about that in a moment. But there's a couple of other things that I just wanted to talk about before I start. And one is that life isn't always shiny and sometimes you don't feel bouncy and happy and good. And I've been having one of those weeks this week. If you follow me on Instagram, then you will have seen me sharing my daily gratitude practice and the fact that this week I wasn't necessarily struggling to find things to be grateful for, but the things I was grateful for were very small because not a lot of good stuff was going on and I felt really tired and lethargic and not very upbeat at all. And part of me wanted to shy away from sharing any of that online because I run my own business. And when you run your own business, don't you just feel the pressure that everything you put out there is, I am happy all the time. I'm here to help people. I couldn't possibly be having a bad day because what would that mean for people who were possibly looking at using my service? Maybe they would think that I wasn't the right person because if I'm having a bad day, maybe I won't give 100% to my work. Lots of those kind of thoughts going through my head. But I'm really aware that when people show up for mediation sessions with me, sometimes they're not in a good place either. And often people come into mediation sessions are thinking, this is my mediation. I should be able to just show up and be businesslike and just talk about figures or the days the children are going to be with me and the days they're going to be with the other parent and just approach it like that. And they find that really hard because they are emotional, because they have maybe not slept very well the night before, worrying about a mediation session. It's a big thing coming into mediation. Or maybe they've just built things up in their mind a lot and they're feeling quite anxious. And so in a session, they can become teary, they can become angry, they can feel like they're not making sense, that they're not able to kind of marshal and summarize their thoughts. And that can be frustrating when you want to get your point across, but you can't quite find the way to say it in a way that helps people to understand what you mean. And it can also mean they get really triggered by the other person, which is something they really didn't want. And that can make them angry or emotional again. So I had all of this in my mind when I showed up on my Instagram stories and just said, I'm not having a good day. And I am finding only tiny things to be grateful for because everything else feels too much. And I was also really aware that, you know, that voice in your head that tells you bad things and tells you you're useless or you shouldn't be doing this, that voice had gone into overdrive for me. Some people call it a gremlin, some people call it the inner critic, lots of different names for it, but there was a lot of that going on. And I've read various things during all of the learnings that I'm doing and that I continue to do about how to deal with that voice, the kind of, should you shout at it? Should you tell it to go away? Should you be having a conversation with it? And really this week, I've just been noticing, yeah, I see you. I see what you're saying. And that's all I've done. And I have also been surrounding myself with good stuff. When I felt the pull to be, oh, you should be doing that. Oh, you should be doing that. I've just checked in with myself and thought, should I? Don't feel like I want to do that at the moment. So maybe I should shelve that thing. Or, you know, when you get those things about, oh, I should be arranging that. I should be sorting that out. Do you know what? Sometimes maybe you shouldn't because you're not in the right frame of mind. And certainly one of the things I say to those people going through a separation is that sometimes just doing getting up, managing to get to work, just sorting out children, that's enough for the moment. Maybe you can't do anything else to sort your separation out at the moment. Maybe you just need to ride this wave for a bit and then come back to it in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months, whenever feels like the right time for you. So I really wanted to share that this morning because I think it's important, and I really do recognise how bad people going through a separation can feel, partly because of all the emotional stuff, but also because when you get the pressure to sort things out, you then almost feel worse that I should be sorting this out, but I'm not because I don't feel able to it, or I don't feel able to make decisions yet. There's a couple of things I wanted to update you on. If you have missed all the stuff on social media, the new LKW Family Mediation website is now live, and I would love for you to go and have a look at that and to give me any feedback. I do a lot of stuff because I think it will help people, and I spend a lot of time looking at things and thinking that looks good to me. But I'd really like to know, does it look good to you? Is the website a helpful resource? Does the blog have topics on it that are helping you? The other big, huge news is that the online shop is now live at LKW Family Mediation. And there are resources in there to help anyone going through a separation to understand what it is they need to be doing and a kind of step-by-step process. And that's a range of online webinars talking you through the kind of things you need to think about and the overview of processes. And there's also workbooks for sorting out money issues and for sorting out issues concerning children that you can work through at your own pace, and they will guide you through the process of resolving it. And there's lots of tips in there about what to do if you get stuck. There's also in the shop a guided meditation to kind of help keep you calm, to take a moment out of your day just to come back to you, because sometimes you can be trying to keep all the balls in the air and you forget to think about what's going on inside you. I really hope this is going to be a hugely valuable resource. I'm really excited about it. It has been a lot of work to get these together, but if it helps people, it's completely worth it. So again, please have a look. Let me know what you think. In the live today, I wanted to talk about the latest blog that I've put up about the divorce process. And that seems really topical because of the resources I've put together are to help people navigate these processes. When people who aren't lawyers or who don't work with those going through a separation talk about divorce, it's a term that for most people probably means the whole process. It is sorting out everything. It is the separating out and ending of our relationship and what impact that's going to have on our children and other people around us. From a strict legal perspective, divorce just means the legal ending of a marriage. So you can end your marriage legally without sorting out issues concerning children or money or anything else. I don't think anybody would suggest that's sensible, and particularly if you are separating, you don't really want to go on living in the same house just having legally ended your marriage. The idea is usually that you're going to live separately, and if you're going to live separately, then you need to make arrangements for your children as to when they're going to be with mum, when they're going to be with dad, or any other significant family members, but also money as to how you're going to get two houses out of the one that you've got. So all of those things are a kind of dichotomy, a strange disconnect between those people that know about separation and divorce and how they look at things, and then how ordinary people who are not legally qualified, and the ordinary bit is probably a bit tongue-in-cheek there, how people who are going through a separation would look at it. So I wanted to get that there right at the off, that the word divorce does mean different things to different people, and I get that. But the divorce process is in some respects the easiest part of the whole process of separation, for the simple reason that it's a paperwork exercise for most people, and it's involving filling out forms and lodging them with a court, which you can now do online, and taking it forward from there. It doesn't really involve any negotiation unless you've got issues about what you're going to base your divorce on. Sorting out issues with regard to money and children is probably the more complicated part, and that's the bit that often requires negotiation and discussion and more work. And I'm going to come on to those processes in the next coming weeks in both blogs and Facebook Lives. So the divorce process is just the paperwork exercise of ending your marriage. And if you've looked at the blog, and I will put a link to this on Facebook and YouTube, it outlines the process to you in a kind of simple overview of the different stages of it. And it's about one person asking for the divorce and the other person consenting to that. And you can base the divorce on different facts. The biggest thing in this country at the moment is that unless you've been separated for 2 years, you have to base the divorce on somebody else's fault. And that can be something that's really derisive and can lead to bad feeling, because often marriages break down and it's nobody's fault. It's something has happened. Maybe you didn't pick up on the signs that you were drifting apart early enough. Maybe you stopped communicating with each other because it was just too hard. Maybe you didn't have the time because of working and children. So for many people, there is no fault. There is just, this is where we are at. So having to say that it's one person's fault over another can be something that causes bad feeling at a time when the relationship, the temperature of the relationship between the two of you can already be a little bit heated. You can both be a little bit on edge. There can be anxieties. So for many people, this isn't helpful. And there has been talk of changing the law for some time, but that sadly hasn't happened yet. But it is something that is being campaigned for by a lot of people, not least Resolution, which is an organisation that works with or represents those that work with people or individuals going through a separation, and other groups as well. Because for many people, having to allege fault is not something that assists an already difficult or tense situation. Do have a look at the blog if you haven't already. If you have any questions about it, then by all means ask me, either by email or on social media if you don't mind sharing publicly. If you have a question, it's likely that somebody else has had that question and just not had the courage to ask it. And please do have a look at the new website and the new shop. And if you feel able to share this video, then I'd be really grateful, because I'm really want to reach as many people as possible to explain about the shop, because I'm super excited about it, because I think it's going to help lots of people. If you need help managing your separation in a more constructive way and to try to look at having a peaceful separation, then why not join the free mailing list that I have? And I will link to that in the comments around on Facebook and YouTube. I send out resources directly into people's inboxes, and it's usually 2 or 3 times a month. And it's tips of things that might help you to manage your separation constructively and peacefully. And it also starts dialogue between us, because you can reply to my emails and you can ask me questions. And even if you're not coming into my mediation service, I might be able to point you in the direction of somebody that might be able to help you. If you're a professional that works with couples or individuals going through a separation, then I have a separate mailing list for you. It includes all of the resources that I've just talked about that you can share with your clients, but it also includes details of networking events and training events and workshops that either I'm running or somebody that I know of is running and that I think might be of interest to you. And so you'll get all of those details into your inbox. So again, I will put the links up so that you can see them. Thank you for watching this, and I hope that you have a good weekend. Bye for now.